views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey, welcome of the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome to Open BxRx. It's our special coverage of COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, and its impact on the borough and throughout the neighborhood. Coming up on today's show, we'll find out about what OneTeen is doing with the goal to provide support for frontline workers. Plus, we'll hear about a mental health podcast and how you can listen in. After that, we'll take a look at an organization promoting self-care for youth in our community. And then next, we'll learn about numerology. My good friend Lloyd Strayhorn is coming on, and he's going to be talking about a number of things of what it means. He's going to be previewing a number of things, and he has a book and his personal story and the whole nine. Then Bobby C has the latest news in the world of sports, and after that, we'll discover what one group is doing to try and save summer youth employment in New York City. And then later on, we'll check out what one artist is doing to promote meditation during this time of COVID-19. So stay tuned. All this and more is headed your way because we are now open. Welcome of the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS and Open. You're watching Open right about now. And I have our guest. Our first guest is working to spread positive messages to healthcare workers. She started an organization called Kind Words USA. Yeah, she joins us today to share more about it. We welcome Gabriella Hu to the show.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
There we go. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, of course. So I started this organization at the beginning of April. My dad is a doctor working right now. And one day he came home from the hospital and was talking about how low the morale was. The doctors and nurses couldn't see an end to this. They're seeing so many tragic cases every day. And so it kind of inspired me to try to create a difference. And since I have so much time right now, since I'm not in school, I decided to just make a couple cards to send to the hospital, and I thought that I could make this a bigger thing.
That's great, and I'm sure, I want to thank your dad for his service. He's a frontline worker, and of course, the first line workers and our first responders, they're out there every step of the way, and they're doing some things. They're losing their lives in some cases. They're risking their lives, but in some cases, they're losing their lives to help us go on living our lives. And that's important. We thank you. We thank your dad for your service. So these letters go out to not only your dad's hospital, but a lot of the other hospitals.
Yes. So we've delivered to around 10 or 11 hospitals now in Seattle, Colorado, Illinois, and New York. Oh,
that's great. And what's the takeaway from this? What would you like people to know? Would you like them to help? You need volunteers, or what's happening with it?
I think there are a variety of ways people can help. We would like to have volunteers to kind of be writing out more notes for us. But also I think just people can visit our Instagram, Kind Words USA, or our website and send in some notes. I think it's a really easy way to help while you're at home, to just Instagram DM us a note to thank the healthcare workers.
And people need to know that, they're appreciated. They see those kind words and it's just, this is the reason why I do this. I took an oath to take care of people, and now I'm being not really recognized for it, but I'm being appreciated, and I'm glad that people care. Now, how do you interact with Dad? Does he stay in another part of the room, or comes home?
So my dad, he's still living with us and everything. He when he leaves the hospital, he changes all his clothes and leaves those clothes at the hospital, and then he'll take a shower right when he comes home. Fortunately, he's not super close with any of the cases, and his hospital has had enough PPE so far to keep him safe. So yeah, we've been pretty lucky with that.
And you've been worried about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Dad,
Yeah,
we love you. We don't want anything to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how are you going to handle this after the COVID virus pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to continue it in another way, or because
Yeah.
they still need to be recognized for all
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that they do? Because all kinds of things come into into a hospital door.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So after this pandemic is over, we're planning on continuing to send messages to hospital workers, but also to veterans and nursing homes and homeless shelter and other people who might be alone at certain times.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, thank you for all that you do. How can we find? Can we find you on the web or?
Yes. So our website is kindwordsusa.com, and our Instagram is also kindwordsusa.
All right. And what would you like to, if our hospital workers and first responders were watching you right now, what would you like to say to them?
I'd just like to say thank you for everything that you've done. I mean, I know so many people in my family and my friends in the medical industry, and it's just like crazy how big of a job this is and how important it is. And you guys are superheroes, and I just want to tell you to keep fighting, and we're all supporting you.
Kind Words USA. Give me the website one more time.
Kindwordsusa.com.
Thank you. Gabriella Hu, we appreciate you. Thank you, your family, thank your father, and give them a big hug for us first chance you get, okay?
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thanks for checking out Open. All right, that about does it here, and we'll take a break and come back with more next on Open. Welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and we're operating right now on Open. And I have my guest here. She's the founder and creator of Analog Girl. It's a podcast, and she joins us to discuss her work in mental health awareness. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, right?
Yes, it is.
Tell us about some of the things you're working on.
So for this month, Analog Girl Podcast just kicked off an awareness Facebook Live series. So I've just been spreading the awareness and just people feel comfortable because we are living in uncertain times right now. So I think this is more along the lines of something to help people to be comfortable and feel calm or relate to other people who are going through mental health issues right now.
Yeah, and your experience with this, because anxiety had always been a major part of your life. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I developed something called the personalization about 2 years ago, and that was it's a symptom of anxiety or an anxiety disorder, I would say. So that going through that experience is what helped me to create Analog Girl and to tell my story, because I started to I wanted to share my story because I knew there were other people out there who were suffering with the same thing and didn't know what they were going through. So it's kind of just taken off, and it was just a lot of people reaching out saying that I've actually helped them to identify what the issues were that they were having in their lives.
Yeah, but it wasn't until you experienced chronic depersonalization that you sought some remedies to be healed. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so because, I had anxiety before, but it was just like, oh, whatever, this is it. But this time it hit me and it became chronic and it never stopped. And it was just a very scary situation that I was going through. So I did sort out tools, and a lot of the tools were reading books and exercising and changing my diet. And as I learned, I shared with my audience too as well, so they would learn too with me.
So chronic depersonalization.
Yes.
What was that for you?
So that is, it's hard to explain, but it's really kind of like disassociating. So you leave, it's like you feel like, you're here, but mentally and in your headspace, it just doesn't feel real. It's kind of dreamlike. So anytime I was describing this to my mom or anybody, I was just like, I just feel like I'm in a dream all the time.
Like, you feel like you were yourself.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't feel real. This doesn't what's going on? And then I started to question life and have existential thoughts. So the existential thoughts started to make me panic even more. So on top of the thoughts and on top of the depersonalization and that sensation that I was feeling, I developed panic attacks because of all the thoughts that I was having. So it was just a layered thing for me that I was going through for about.
Tell us about the things that you come to terms with. You said you came to terms with the emotional, physical, and sexual abuse that you had experienced, and then you started to get things together and put things in line.
What that means is during the time of the depersonalization, I sought out therapy. And in the therapy is when I was able to go to the core of where a lot of my anxiety had come from.
Yeah.
So, that is what that means when I say I just came to terms with a lot of stuff. And I think a lot of us just have to come to terms with a lot of things that we went through when we were younger that might have traumatized us and we have not known it.
Yeah. And it's there. Sometimes you go to different people to try to help you pull that out.
Right.
Get rid of it.
Right.
Some people go to a hypnotist or a psychiatrist or psychologist, and don't worry about a stigma. If you need help, you need to go in and take care of it. How did you, who did you seek out?
Well, I sought out a therapist. My therapist, her name is Dr. Melanie Stiles, and she's been amazing. I also did a lot of self-help and reading books and YouTubes and meditation. So I was just very, I guess for lack of better words, I was just very committed to healing as soon as possible. So I was willing to do whatever I wanted to do.
What do you want people to know about mental health awareness?
That it's something that is universal. When people hear mental health, I think a lot of people run away from that and they think that
that's that stigma.
Yes, it's crazy, it's a ward, or it's a mental ward or whatever. But it is a normal thing. We all have mental health. Some of us can enhance our mental health, and some of us are okay. But we all need to maintain it, and that's what mental health awareness is about. We all just need to maintain our mental health.
Girl, analog girl.
Yes, analog girl.
So that's another way to get it out. You have a platform where you can get it out of you. You can talk about it.
Exactly.
So your Analog Girl podcast, right? A lot of the stuff is coming out, and you're helping others in the process.
Right, exactly. And I try to get episodes out weekly when I can. I'm a one-man show, so it's just, Wednesday-ish is when the episodes come out. And I have a host of guests that come on and just teach us things. The next episode that's coming up is about career anxiety and how to revamp your life and be your own career coach, especially in these uncertain times.
Especially, yes.
Yes.
So, a lot of people are unemployed.
Yes, and that's with Career Contessa, and I'll be putting that episode out next week.
And how can we go somewhere to check out this schedule that you just
mentioned? So you can follow me on Instagram at the.analoggirl. The Facebook Live series is only being shown on Facebook, on my Facebook page, obviously, and that's Analog Girl Podcast. You just like the page and you'll always get a notification. And if you sign up for my email list on theanaloggirl.com, you'll also get the replays of every video.
Thank you. Thank you for the service that you provide too.
Thank you.
LaToya D, Analog Girl Podcast. Make sure you check it out. And thank you so much. And you can check this out too, right here on BronxNet. We're going to take a break right here. We'll come back with more. Welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and I have with me Karen Meza. She's a program coordinator for Mental Health Awareness Project. Karen, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the things that you're working on right now. You got the projects going and all of that? Tell us about it.
So first let me introduce myself. My name is Karen Meza. I am the program coordinator for Mental Health Awareness Project, or MAP for short. And our organization is led by a cohort of young adults working to serve as mental health peer advocates.
Sure.
So our mission is to help destigmatize the topic of mental health. And unfortunately, many communities do not believe in the concept of mental health, which impacts not only the lives of adults, but also of the kids. And mostly during this pandemic, it is more than important to highlight the importance of mental health and inform others how mental health affects all aspects of their lives.
Tell us about the Youth Advocacy Corps that was launched a year ago, and the year-long Mental Health Awareness Project that you were working on.
Yes, so MAP was launched about a year ago by one of our advocates who saw that mental health wasn't a topic in minority communities.
Yeah. Is it because of the stigma and nobody wants to?
Yeah, the stigma. It's a considered taboo topic. You know, a lot of communities think that's our business. You should not talk about it to anyone else. What happens at home stays at home. And unfortunately, that stumps a lot of young adults into seeking help at school. And so they just deal with their problems at home. It could be depression. It could be self-image, and those problems accumulate, and unfortunately, sometimes it leads to bad results.
Yeah. Karen, what inspired you to get involved in this?
What inspired me was definitely seeing how men in my community get torn down, mostly my brothers, who they're told, don't cry. Don't cry, you're a man. Don't cry, men don't cry.
They tell that to you, don't cry, you're a man?
They tell that to my brothers, and that just hurt my heart. Just seeing how my younger brothers were always told to never cry, or how me as a woman was told, oh, you're crying because you're sensitive.
Yeah, but they never let it out. Men cry.
Yeah, men cry.
Let it out. Yeah.
You gotta let it out. You gotta express it. But just seeing all that negativity on how expressing your feelings, it just inspired me to go out there and help other people who maybe have it worse than me and my brothers. They maybe going through more, and they're told, don't say anything, don't share that. That is our problem.
Right.
So it just inspired me to go out there and help others.
So you see it a lot out there, not only with your brothers, but out in the community, that people just hold them back, and deep problems that a lot of them may have, but they just don't share it, and they don't go out, they don't go seek help because of that stigma. Say,
Yeah,
no, they're
it's
gonna think I'm crazy. They're gonna think, I'm weak, and they're gonna think I'm a weak person because I can't cry or don't want to cry about it. I'm not, I'm not as sensitive as my sister. All of those
yeah.
things.
Yeah, it's normalized. It's a norm. I'm Mexican, so in the Mexican community, if you say you have depression, oh, you crazy, bipolar, you crazy, or any type of mental health issue, you're crazy. No one can talk to you about anything because you'll cry. And yeah, and MAB, definitely, we have workshops in which we talk about self-care, and we are promoting the 7-Day Love Challenge, which is where we take a cup and we put different types of activities you can do in it, like on piece of paper. So we put them inside, and then every day we take one out. What can I do for self-care? Let me do yoga. Let me take a walk. Maybe wearing my mask, but a walk is a walk nonetheless. Maybe cooking my favorite food, things like that. Those are self-cares, things that make us feel less stressed. People don't actively think about, how can I self-care, but every day they do it in some form or the other. Maybe by watching TV, by hanging out with their friends, by talking to their best friend on the phone. That is self-care. And I want everyone to know that self-care is important. Do not think that giving your time to relax is selfish, mostly during this time where people are not sure about the future. So they think they have to keep on working or keep on stressing about everything. No, remember, take care of yourself. It's important. You are as important as everyone else.
Got it. Website? You have a website? Social media?
Yes, we have Instagram at Advocacy Corps and Instagram.
Thank you so much. Karen Meza, thank you. And remember, you have to exercise your mind, body, and spirit every day in preparation
Definitely,
for life.
Every day.
Yes. Karen, thank you. Karen's a program coordinator for the Mental Health Awareness Project. We appreciate you and thank you for the work that you do. Stay home, stay safe.
Thank you for having us. You too. It's never self-care.
Yeah, self-care. Thank you. All right, we'll take a break. I've got more coming up next.
Taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
Welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and I have with me, my friend. We've worked together for a while on WBLS and WLIV. Yep. Lloyd Strayhorn, how are you, man?
I'm doing fine. It is so good to see you under these conditions.
Yeah.
The one thing about this virus is I now get to see what everybody's living rooms and this stuff look like. I said, wow, look at all those albums. And people say, wow, look at all those books.
I figured I come in here, I do a lot of things out of this office here. I have my radio and TV studio. I get if I want to take out the turntables.
All those albums, boy, you got some collector's albums up in there. We met about everybody who was anybody during that period.
Yeah, but not so much about me. I mean, I love you, man, and you've been doing so many things. I remember when your first book came out and you doing numbers and everything, and you were, like you're in your heyday. Your heyday never ended.
Well, it hasn't. Actually, I am more popular now than I was then, believe it or not. Oh, and happy belated birthday, too. Happy belated birthday, too, buddy.
Thank you. You always call me around my birthday. Always have some nice things to say. Tell me
Yeah.
about my birthday. Tell me about the
First of all,
numbers associated with my birthday.
you are a fire sign with a fire number and associated with singing legend Mariah Carey, for example.
Yeah.
And being a fire sign with a fire number, metaphysically, it means you're very passionate about what you do. And whatever it is, your interest, your focus, your time and attention, when you're on it, you're on it. 9 people like yourself, 2 + 7 is 9, normally indicates people that have a good opinion of themselves.
But you've been doing this. You put the book out, Numbers
Yeah.
in You. Was that the first book? I know you have a couple.
Yeah, I did put my first book out in 1980, believe it or not, Numbers in You. Then another one came out in 1987. Then another one came out in 1997. Now, in 2016, I have 3 additional books. One is Lloyd's Numbers in You workbook, because I have an enrollment class that I'd like to mention briefly a second.
Sure.
And the second one is Lloyd's Numbers in You relationship guides, because, you know, we used to be on the street, we'd be comparing people. They want to know about this, that, and the other. And then I have Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology guide for the 21st century and beyond. They're in different colors. It can get them all on Amazon.com.
Yeah. And how did you get into this? Because you've been into it for a while, but what propelled you? What motivated you?
When I graduated, then I worked at Harper's Bazaar magazine. Then I worked with CBS. They had a bookstore, a book division called, I'll think of it later. But anyway, that my first book.
WBLS and WLIB.
Yeah, and then I went to WLS and WLIB. But my first book I picked up was Numerology by Vincent Lopez, who at that time was a Cuban band leader, famous band leader. So from there, it went on, and it's been a very long love affair. And I like it because, first of all, I'm nosy as all get out. So that's great. I'm gay confessing. And then, but more importantly, it allows me to help people help themselves.
Yeah. And so you've read a lot of people. You've read a lot of people over the years. What are some of the most notable?
One of them stands out right now is Aaliyah, singer Aaliyah, when she came to the station.
Yeah.
Another one was Barry White when he came to the station. Jamie Foxx, I read him when he came to the station. LL Cool J. And see, you and I have had the advantage of meeting these celebrities, and these guys are really nice.
Yeah. What are you working on right now?
What I'm working on, I've just completed my online course. It's called Learn from Lloyd, How to Read a Person Like a Book.
That. Learn from Lloyd. I like that.
That's right. How to read a person like a book. How to read a person like a book.
You know, you inspire so many people. When I was thinking about writing my first book, it was going to be autobiography, but I got out of it. I touched it. I turned it into an autobiographical, motivational, inspirational type of book. And you can see a couple of them back here. And I have my 5th one that I'm still waiting. I have it on hold because of the COVID virus thing. I have it done, but I just have to write a dedication. I'm going to dedicate it to all the people who,
But see, this is what I was saying.
Didn't make it during this pandemic.
But see, that's why I was saying about you, with you being a 9, motivational, inspirational, to bring out the best in people.
Where can we get your information? They're going to hard wrap me here. Where can we get the information on everything that you're doing?
Well, they can go to my Instagram, Numbers in You, Twitter, Numbers in You, Facebook, Numbers in You, LinkedIn, Numbers in You, or go to my website. And by the way, I give a free monthly newsletter. So when they go to my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, and you scroll further down, you just send your email and whatnot, and we'll send you a free monthly newsletter for May.
Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn, my friend. Thank you so much.
No, we are brothers. We are brothers. We have a nice history, you and I.
And we got to keep in touch. As a matter of fact, I'm going to call you today. If I don't, you call me. All right.
Okay. Good enough. Good enough.
Got it, my brother.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a blessed day, and you be safe, my brother. You take good care of yourself.
Okay. Lloyd Strayhorn, numerologist, right here on Open. And I'm sure I'm going to probably talk to him on WBLS too. Lloyd, thank you so much. We'll take a break right here, and we'll come back with more Open next.
Hey there, sports fans. Special treat today as we have New York City basketball legend Smush Parker joining us here on the show. Smush, looking fantastic, man. You still look like you can play in the NBA.
I feel like I can still play in the NBA.
All the time when it comes up to New York City legends and the greats of basketball that have come through this city and that I've got an opportunity to watch. I tell people all the time that you are the greatest I've ever seen, especially at Hoops in the Sun in the Bronx, the best to ever play in the park. And it's, like I said, an honor to have you on the show here today.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for the love, continued love and support. Shout out to the Cruz family, the Hoops in the Sun basketball tournament, my Hoops in the Sun family. It was a joy and a pleasure playing in that tournament, and playing in that tournament, I built many relationships, including ours.
I had a chance to talk to you off camera. I still can't believe also that you've had to deal with battling COVID-19. I mean, that's crazy to have to be someone that has overcome coronavirus and is having several friends that haven't been able to overcome the virus. I'm very happy that you're still with us.
Yeah, I thank God every day. He saw me fit to see the virus, meet it head on, and then overcome it. So I thank my Lord and Jesus Savior, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for bringing me through.
I think it's great too to be able to update the community on all of the things that you've been able to do with your nonprofit. I was hoping that you could tell the people here in the Bronx and New York City about some of your charitable endeavors and how you've also offered even some of the equipment that you have in your house to people that are trying to create, things that are needed for the virus.
All right. So what I'm doing through my nonprofit called Smush Inspires is I'm giving the kids who are in underprivileged communities who are overlooked opportunity to attend a high-profile athletes basketball camp and clinic, and at the same time, meet an NBA player. Some of these kids may never even make it to an NBA game, let alone meet an NBA player. And I want to give them that experience that not every kid is a privy to. So I want to give that to the overlooked kids. And then the equipment that I have in my house, I do shirts and I do hats, and you see this is my logo here. I've been doing that, just to kind of bring, awareness of what I'm doing in the community. It's a brand, it's a logo that I made up. It's actually a silhouette of myself dunking a basketball. I kind of just do that, in the house. And like you said, I offered my services to people who actually need some work done in this time.
I know oftentimes maybe athletes don't get the love when it comes to being anything but athletic, but you're really, a renaissance man in your post-career from basketball, not just now with these endeavors with the nonprofit and helping people in communities, but also as a fast track perhaps to refereeing in the NBA. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. That's the second part of my life that I'm working on. Even though I still look like I can play in the NBA, those days are behind me. Right now, I'm working on trying to become an NBA official, and it's a 2-3 year process for myself. Hopefully, it doesn't last any longer than that. But you'll soon see me back in the NBA.
That's awesome, Smush. I can't wait for that. I think it's been so cool to be able to go on to your social channels and get a chance to watch some of these highlights. Now I know how great you are, but maybe the kids of today's generation lose sight of how great some of those players were in the past.
For me, my legacy is attached to one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. My legacy is attached to playing for the most historic NBA franchise in NBA history. And my legacy is attached to playing for the most decorated coach in NBA history, Phil Jackson, Kobe Bryant, and the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm fortunate enough that my story might not ever be forgotten because of those three attachments, I should say. But to segue into The Last Dance, people have forgotten, even people my age have forgotten how great Michael Jordan was. And it's unfortunate that people who have lived to see Michael Jordan actually really play the game forget how great he was, because we have current greats. We have a LeBron James, we had our Kobe Bryants, we have Shaquille O'Neal's, we have those guys, D Wade, we have those guys, and of course they're younger and more relevant than Mike, but Mike was a different animal.
Kobe Bryant, of course, was a different beast too, and you got a chance to attend those ceremonies in Los Angeles in January. How difficult a time has this been for you as someone that had a friendship with him?
Man, I'll tell you this, man. When I first heard the news, it definitely shook me to the core. Um, it definitely broke me down, tremendously. We all, hope and pray that, he's resting in peace. But more importantly, I'm keeping this family up in prayer right now. The Bryants who have seemed to be very strong in this time, and I'm keeping them in my prayers. But it definitely took my world by storm, hearing about the tragic loss.
I think there's also a misconception too about the Rocky relationship, because it seemed like things were smoothed out, and obviously those years in LA were pretty good, both playoff years. That first year the team was 45-37. You guys made a first round run there in the postseason with Kobe Bryant playing so great, and even you had a good playoff series with 18 points in Game 3. Some really good memories from those Laker days.
Man, there was some awesome times. Definitely playing in the Staples Center. In front of the greatest of the greats of the world. It was Hollywood. You had all the actors, models, actresses, producers. Everybody was there to watch. So we were playing on the grand stage. I was playing on the grand stage until, make it to the playoffs and go up against the great, Phoenix Suns, Steve Nash at the time. Just great and wonderful memories.
At that time you were driving the Smush I'm assuming you're not sitting in that right now, right?
No, I'm not sitting in the Smush right now.
I tell people all the time too, when it comes to careers, I mean, you had a very good college career, but of course you go undrafted at Fordham, and then you take really an interesting path, because you get signed as a free agent by the Cavaliers. And then, of course, out of the NBA, playing overseas, you win a championship in Greece, and then back in the NBA, and you played with several different teams. So maybe a bit of an unconventional path, in terms of what you would have necessarily liked, just to be drafted by the league right away. But to eventually ascend to be a starting point guard in the NBA, I think it speaks to your hard work and dedication. Tell us a little bit about that path that you had to endure just to get to the league and stick.
Man, it was a road. It was a road. It was definitely a journey, a process, an unorthodox journey. But I had the mindset, the New York City mindset, I should say. You should know all about it. The never say die, never lose mentality. After not being drafted, I made my way to being able to play in the NBA 6 years and then 11 years overseas. So it was definitely unconventional. But my mindset was I wasn't going to allow people to tell me that I wasn't good enough to play in the NBA, and I was going to prove it to the world that I was, and that's exactly what I was able to do.
I mean, all those parks too. I mean, here in New York, I don't think there's anyone that doesn't know your game, from West 4th up here to the Bronx at Hoops and Sun.
I never did it for the fame. I never did it for the fortune. I actually did it because I love the game of basketball, and whether or not I get the notoriety for some of the things that I have accomplished in my career locally here in New York or globally, I was able to prove to myself, which I did, that I was able to play at the highest level of basketball that there was. And actually, in all actuality, I wanted to prove it to my dad. I wanted to do it for my dad, and I did that. So that's all that matters to me.
Well, we definitely appreciate everything that you're doing for the communities with your nonprofit. I can't wait to see you perhaps in the NBA as a ref very soon. Just love to see the NBA back and with you in it. And then, of course, before we let you go, just wanted to wish you a happy early birthday. And if you do find the Smushgalade, I would love a ride.
All right.
Great to see you, Smush. Thanks for taking some time with us today. All the best to you and your family.
Thanks for having me.
welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob A, and you're watching Open. Have Kai-Lin Kwek-Rupp on the line with us today. And she has something called, well, she works with teens. And she joins us for a look today at what she's doing with the summer youth employment. That big campaign that they're trying to stop. I think it's on hold right now, but you're trying to bring it back. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I work with an organization called Teens Take Charge. We're a student-led movement for educational equity in New York City. We can go into that, but that's a whole other conversation. But right now we're fighting really, really hard to ensure that the Summer Youth Employment Program, or SYEP, remains this summer. So It was created in, just a little background, it was created in 1963, and it serves 75,000 New York youth between the ages of 14 and 24 with summer jobs. It's the nation's largest summer youth employer. And so it allows students across all backgrounds of New York City to explore opportunities and career pathways, to develop workplace skills, and engage in project-based learning experiences.
I know. I used to work there. I had a job. I was making a little bit of money, but it was good. It kept us off the streets, and we were able to open up little bank accounts and everything. And I think it's very much needed. Do not get rid of it, because, youngsters will be all over the streets, and this is needed to help them out, help put some money in their bank account and just help them to buy things and to survive.
Exactly.
Basically.
So studies have shown that participants of SYP are 54% more likely to be employed. They earn an average of $580 more. It reduces the probability of incarceration among teenagers.
Yes.
That's huge to dismantle the school to prison pipeline. And so Teens Take Charge, we work for educational equity. And so we know that we have a deeply segregated school system in New York. And so this creates these really deep and lasting inequalities that hit young people really hard. So programs like SYP are part of this solution. So they reduce gaps in work-based learning and increase social capital in the youth communities that need it the most. And we also know that COVID had a greater impact in communities of color, and those are predominantly what SYP serves. And so we can take the financial burden off of a student and their families, whether that's providing groceries for a month or buying their own school supplies in the fall, take kids off the street, and help the city's recovery effort. Cutting the SYP program and cutting a program that serves 75,000 New Yorkers is just so short-sighted.
Yeah, they have to do something. I remember the announcement came out that they were gonna, cut the summer jobs, and I think that's going to be devastating with all the things that are going to be happening throughout the summer. Kids are going to just be hanging out all over the place, and
Exactly.
It's good to give youngsters something positive to do to keep them in the right direction. And what a better way than to employ them and give them a job. So you're doing a number of things to try to bring that back, right? Who are you talking to? Any elected officials helping you out?
Yeah, so City Council is negotiating budgets for the 2020-21 fiscal year, and we're really fighting so that SYP has the money it needs to function. The total cost is 0.0014% of the city's budget, so it really is such a small fraction. And SYP providers all over have said that they can transition to a socially distanced SYP, whether that's having kids complete internships over Zoom or Google Meets or something like what we're doing right now, or having kids work essential jobs, so helping in food pantries and grocery stores. These are all ways that teenagers can be part of New York's recovery effort. It's also crazy. We shifted a 1.1 million student school system to online learning in a week. We have until summer to figure out how to get this SYP thing to work. And right now, the mayor is just shutting it down as impossible, which just isn't true. But we're working really hard with city council members to make sure that money is included in the budget.
Yeah, we got to give them something to do. There's community centers out there. They can help do a number of things. We just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a website or anything that people can go to and find out what you're doing? Because I know you can lay it out just like that on the website. So
we have a petition on change.org. Go to our website. You go teenstakecharge.org/SYP. We're sending out daily action emails. So that can be anything from tweeting at your council member to writing a testimony. And you're going to get those every other day. And they give you a really short, usually they take less than a minute to complete action that you can do. And we've seen really, like, these make a difference. City council members want to represent their constituents in the way so that they want to be represented. So if you send a message to, like, say, we had one where we specifically targeted Helen Rosenthal, and within a day she had committed to full funding. Like, your voice matters. And so if you could sign up for those daily action emails, that would be phenomenal.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. And we hope everything is successful. We hope the students get their jobs and they make a little bit of money and they stay off the streets.
Yeah, really.
All right, we'll take a break. I've got more next.
Media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Here we go again. Welcome back to Open, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and we have a guest artist. He's been on the show before. He's no stranger to the show, and he's joining us today for a look at what he's doing in the community. We welcome UnCutt to the show.
How you guys
Right
how you
here,
doing
up
today?
front,
How you guys
in front.
doing? Oh, sorry. How you guys doing today?
Good. All right, so tell us about what you're doing. I mean, you got to be quarantined and everything, and you're locked away like a lot of us, in our studios. What are you working on?
Oh man, since this started, actually, I've been doing a lot of meditation with people every day.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Like 11 p.m. and a.m. because I have a lot of followers that follow me because of the Protect Your Heart movement, and that movement is so close to energy and close to their heart and close to their inner self. So we do a lot of inner self exercise in the morning. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I recently started actually getting back into art, but I couldn't really create when this whole started because everybody was panicking and they were all in need of some type of peace and tranquility. So I had to drop the paintbrush and go to work. And that really entailed me talking to people and making a lot of things make sense for them to where the panicking and the worry kind of diminishes and stuff,
Well, tell us about this movement across the U.S. that you started.
The good thing about Protect Your Heart, which is something that we started 6 years ago. And when I say we, I like to consider this kind of work something that was coerced with energy that surrounds me, because this is not a work of me alone. So I always look at this work as a we thing. So I say like we started putting it out there like 6 years ago. And the whole purpose was, for people to get closer to their energy and get closer to their self. And we use the heart as the focal point because everybody understands how important the heart is to the human body and the human soul. So that went well because every time somebody ran into it, they had the reaction that we expected, which is a touch of tranquility and peace. Like something like what we in right now, like the moment that we in right now significantly explains exactly what somebody would run in,
Yeah.
would get that moment they run to protect your heart, that moment of peace, that moment
Yeah.
fully you got time to think about yourself, you know.
But
So
what you're doing right now is capturing the attention of heart and art lovers all over the globe. And it
yeah,
resulted in over 30 million likes and accumulated over 1.4 billion impressions on Instagram. That's amazing.
that right there was beautiful on the strength of the people wanting to share that with their family, friends, and their network, you know, because a lot of people, 90% of the people that posted didn't post it because of me. They posted because the message was from them. They know that it came from them. So it was a blessing, and we want to keep pushing that. People are not in the streets no more. A lot of it came from people seeing it actually in the streets. So we're not getting people bubbling into it in the streets. So currently, just trying to figure out how we can continue to help people in that state on the viral.
Yeah. And every April 23rd, you celebrate National Protect Your Heart
Oh my God,
around the
this
world.
year.
How did it go this year,
Oh my
this April
God,
23rd?
this year we were set up to do it in so many different cities. Everybody was so prepared. We had a few sponsors, so we had to pull back.
Yeah.
So I had to think fast. So what I did was I put together a wellness marathon, which I want to do again because it was such a good day of just first, like I started at 6 in the morning, and I was on my live from 6 in the morning all the way to like 4 the next day.
Wow. Yeah.
And the live was just getting on live with different people that had different energy, different information, and different point of views that was allowing people to just soak in this different type of beautifulness. So I had different yoga. I had a yoga instructor. I had a Tai Chi instructor. I had meditation instructor on. I had a nutritionist on. I had a herbalist on. I had a DJ on, 2 DJs. I had me talking to Jamie Foxx called in. He spoke to me for a good 20 minutes.
I like Jamie Foxx.
About this. Yeah, he's awesome. So and a lot of other people called in too. So it was a beautiful day of just love, the same way that we want it to be, but it was just viral. So it was great.
Now, UnCutt, I have to ask you. You've been wearing the mask and covering up for a long time now. And I asked you about it before, but in a different way, you know, because we didn't know what was coming down the line. Did you know what was coming down the pipe? Because you had the original mask.
Let me say something, right? My brain rarely know what's going on with my body. You know, like my brain just figures it out later. I just follow this inner peace inside that just says do something, and I try not to ask no questions, and I just do it.
Yeah.
And this face mask thing,
that's intuition right there.
Yeah, that's you know, I get that from my mama. The mask thing came at first. There was a lot of reason. At first, when I first thought about the mask, is because when I wanted to put the art out, protect the art, being that I knew that it was going to be something that's so close to somebody's heart, somebody's personal inner self, I had to take myself outside of that equation, because when you want somebody to find themselves and you want them to have a conversation and you want them to find that personal peace inside, you don't want to interfere with that. So me being somebody that people look up to took away from them looking up to themselves. So I wanted to not be the face of nothing. I just wanted that thing to just exist on its own, and for you to be the face, whoever the person is. So the first original idea was to not be seen and allow this art to just be what it is, and not, because it's such a great thing. It changes lives in such a great way that people do want to stop what they're doing and say, hey, oh my God, thank you. I appreciate you. Oh my God. And then, you know, then their life becomes about my life. Yeah, we're going to follow you. We're going to know it's not about me. We want people to construct their life from within. So I wanted to not be in the equation. So I started blocking my face. So that way people won't focus on me, but they'll focus on the art and the message.
Got it. How can we find more out about you? You have a website?
Yeah, actually we just launched a new website for Protect Your Heart, which kind of have a lot of my stuff on there. It's protectyourheart.life. and you could check us out, protectyourheart.life. There's a lot of stuff. Actually, I've been during the quarantine, I've been blessed to have people that want to get masks, but I've been able to sell some masks. Not masks, but bandanas, actually. I made a few Protect Your Heart bandanas.
That's real cool. Well, listen, thanks for checking in with us. We really, really appreciate you, and thank you for all the work that you do, all right? Check your heart, check your heart, check your heart, and protect your heart with UnCutt, the artist.
Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. And we'll talk to you more again, okay?
All right. You have a good one.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a break. I've got more next on Open. Funny how time flies when you're having fun, but we must wrap up the program. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank you, our guests, and our viewers for tuning in and checking it all out. In these times of uncertainty, we appreciate you and thank you for keeping connected to BronxNet for our continued coverage. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. Of the Dr. Bob Lee, I'll catch you over 107.5 WBLS. We love you. We thank you. Stay safe. Stay home. Peace.